more an inclination of the Dolphins or the Broncos?
I mean, when you take a step back and you look at it, yeah, I think Sean Payton should never took the job in Denver. For me, I just feel as if the roster was so incomplete that if I stepped away from football for some time, I want to come back into an ideal situation. He should have continued to work in the booth and broadcast and such, and wait for that Dallas Cowboys job to open up. Because if Dallas don't get it done this year, McCarthy out of there.
Let's go. Man, when we talk about NFL records, we're usually talking about passing touchdowns, or even Keenan Allen set a record yesterday in terms of the most 15 plus yard catching, 15 plus catches games in NFL history, with over 3 games with 15 plus catches. So he's getting a lot of love there. We rarely talk about a scoring record, right? I'll tell you the truth here. I didn't even know what the most points scored in an NFL game was. I had no idea. I've never heard anybody talk about it. I've never really thought about a team coming close to it. But now I know that record is 72. The Broncos were at serious risk of going into the history books yesterday as the team to give up the most points in an NFL game when they took on the Miami Dolphins. So when we talk about, is this more an inclination of who the Dolphins are or more of who the Broncos are, I'm split. I think we already knew that the Dolphins were a great football team that's well put together. They have all of the offensive weapons that you need. When you think about weaponry and going into any battle, they are a Swiss Army knife. They got Tua, who, lucky lefty, can throw the ball down the field, can scramble. They've got Tyreek Hill. They've got Jalen Waddle. They've got Robbie Anderson
He
or
didn't
Robbie
even play
Chosen or
yesterday. Waddle
Chosen
didn't even
Anderson.
play.
I don't even know his what is his name now? Chosen, Robbie Chosen. They
Chosen
got
one.
they got Robbie Chosen. Hey, they got pieces. They got Mostert in the backfield, Achani in the backfield. This team is loaded,
Loaded.
and Jalen Ramsey has not even suited up yet.
Bro,
Bro,
Waddle was hurt. He didn't even play yesterday,
they
bro.
didn't need him. They didn't need Waddle yesterday because Robbie
Jeez.
Chosen went off. He did his thing. Tyreek Hill did his thing, and the backs did their thing. The first NFL team to throw for 4 passing touchdowns and to rush for 4 touchdowns in the same game. This team is loaded. Listen, if the Dolphins were not on your radar to win the AFC this year, they better be now. But moving away from the Dolphins and moving to the Broncos, Sean Payton. This is exactly why you don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. Sean Payton has so much to say about the culture in Denver. He threw shots at Nathaniel Hackett. He has so much to say about what he was going to be able to do before he really even got in the door to see what he was working with. There's obviously some issues in Denver. Is it all on Sean Payton? No. But should Sean Payton have ran his mouth? No.
Absolutely not.
He should not. He owes Nathaniel Hackett an apology. The Broncos are abysmal. This is a terrible football team. They just got their behinds handed to them. And to be honest, if Jalen Waddle would have played yesterday, I don't know. Do the Broncos put up? Do they give up 84 points yesterday? I mean, this thing
Mm-hmm.
could have gotten a lot worse. I don't like that Mike McDaniel's made the decision not to kick the field goal at
I
the
do.
at the.
Class act. Class
I,
act. Class
listen.
act.
You can't say
He,
somebody's a class act when they score 70 points. They
he's a
could have
class act.
decided. Listen, when they got 50 points, they could have decided we're not going to throw the ball no more. And they were still throwing the ball. They were still trying to score. So not kicking the field goal after you put up 70 does not make you a class act. You already put up 70.
They,
So
were, bro, they did whatever they wanted to do yesterday. Even if they would have ran the ball, bro, it would have resulted in the same thing. They could, bro.
all I'm saying is 70 and 73 don't make a difference. You might as well kick the
Listen,
field goal and go ahead and set the record.
hey, what I tell you about Mike McDaniel earlier in the day, He's that guy. He can coach, man. That's all I can say. He can
So
coach.
he could coach. So what are your thoughts? Is this more an inclination of the Dolphins or the Broncos?
I mean, when you take a step back and you look at it, yeah, I think Sean Payton should never took the job in Denver. For me, I just feel as if the roster was so incomplete that if I stepped away from football for some time, I want to come back into an ideal situation. He should have continued to work in the booth and broadcast and such, and wait for that Dallas Cowboys job to open up. Because if Dallas don't get it done this year, McCarthy out of there. Now you hear it here first. McCarthy is out of there. So I would have waited for that. Let's talk about Vance Joseph. And I'll be very brief with Vance Joseph. Vance Joseph was actually the darn head coach in Denver in 2017, 2018. University of Colorado alum, to be exact. He played running back and quarterback at Colorado University. And he played in the league. So he understands defenses, coverages, offenses, and such. He went 11 and 21 in those 2 seasons. Then they brought him back. It's kind of like taking back an ex. Why would you take back your ex and you already done cut ties with he or she or whoever? Like, why would you do that? Needless to say, Vance Joseph, if you have a honestly, if I were the GM, he would be packing his desk this morning. Like he out of there. There's nothing he can do for us, guys. Let's move forward. Let's move into a new direction. I don't think the Denver Broncos have the personnel in place to make things happen. Offensively, they do. Offense doesn't look terrible. It's that defense, and that's very surprising coming from the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. Overall, it's going to be a long season
Yes.
in Denver. Listen, if you like our content, do what we always tell you to do. Give us that CLS treatment. Comment, like, subscribe. Dev and I'll be back with more from me in the arena.